Please like, comment, subscribe, and share.
You put these things on, it's not exactly the super fit that you are hoping for. It looks more...
Hey, there you are. You're just in time for Scotty's Halloween Special Edition. Today's memory from the glorious days of my past? Halloween costumes. Ooh.
I'm trick-or-treating, but the mask, the rubber band keeps breaking. It keeps getting shorter. I'm fixing it. It's getting tighter and tighter on my face. You know,
Back when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, unless you were going to be a hobo, the standard default costume for any kid who didn't have a costume in time for Halloween, or a sheet ghost, you know, the sheet with the holes in it, unless you were going to be one of those for Halloween, you were going to buy a costume, and that meant dealing with one of the big three. No, not Ford, Chevy, or Chrysler. It was Ben Cooper, Collegeville, or Halco. These companies produced costume kits. The kits consisted of a simple elastic banded mask and a silkscreen drape made of vinyl, and came in a cake box, an actual cake box, complete with a cellophane covered window so you could actually see the costume. Ben Cooper Inc. was a corporation which primarily manufactured Halloween costumes from the late 1930s to late 1980s. It was one of the three largest Halloween costume manufacturers in the U.S. from the 50s through the mid-80s. In fact, Ben Cooper costumes are the ones I primarily think about when I think about the nostalgically awesome but kind of weird Halloween costume kits of my childhood. But they weren't the only players. Collegeville began in the 1920s as an American flag producer. Lisa Cornish, the daughter of the founder, said that the conversion from banners to banshees, as she put it, occurred when an enterprising employee saw yards of leftover red, white, and blue fabric and thought, hey, let's make Uncle Sam costumes. The J. Halpern Company, later called Halco, was a toy company based in Pittsburgh that got into the Halloween costume business after World War II. And it began licensing images of fictional characters like Popeye, Olive Oyl, Little Orphan Annie, and Mickey Mouse. These costume kits cost around $1.25. Can you believe that? $1.25. When I was a kid, that would be about $15, $16 in today's money. So that means my mom gleefully spent $15 on a one-use costume for me back in the day. Wow. My appreciation for my mom just grew. Quite a bit, in fact. I say a one-use costume, but really, it was at least two. You'd wear the costume to school for the school's Halloween costume parade and classroom party, then trick-or-treat in it later. Then it would probably start to come apart. The mask was rather uncomfortable and completely cut off your peripheral vision. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't see. Every house seemed to have a step or two in front of the front door that you'd eventually trip on, and you'd run through the dark neighborhood blind and suffocating. That's why you usually saw kids flipping the mask back onto the tops of their heads, pulling it down right before you sang out the trick or treat. Man, it was fun. You could always find the basic witch and clown and monster costume. In the 1950s, television characters such as Davy Crockett, Superman, and Zorro were becoming more popular. So Ben Cooper and Halco began licensing characters for their costumes, including Disney characters such as Mickey Mouse. Sales increased. The Ben Cooper Company even banked heavily on the popularity of President John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy, but had to destroy thousands of masks after Kennedy was assassinated in November 1963. Of course, sales are cyclical, and when they rise, they eventually ebb. As sales began to dip, another cultural touchpoint exploded on the scene. The film Star Wars hit theaters in 1977 and affected everything, including the costume companies. Sales flourished, but the wind of change was beginning to blow. the taste and flavor of Halloween was beginning to shift. Halco stopped producing costumes in 1977, Ben Cooper in 1996, and Collegeville in 1998. But all is not lost. All three of these companies have seen a resurgence of sorts and are producing costumes again in a limited fashion. In fact, my brother, who is a Batman collector, recently purchased a brand new Ben Cooper Batman costume from the Halloween Spirit store. I loved these costumes as a kid and loved seeing them in all the stores, from big department stores to the small 5 and dimes that still existed. Now, I'm not 100% sure which one it was, but my first costume was a Ben Cooper or a Collegeville cat. It was either this one or this one, I think. I know it was a cat, and both of these look really familiar. The Ben Cooper Devil that you're looking at right now is the exact kind I had in 2nd grade. I loved the mask, hated the smock. But listen to this, my dog chewed up the mask when I got home from school, and I had to go out trick-or-treating that night wearing just the smock. Ugh. My brother had this Planet of the Apes costume. He told me he actually hated it, but Mom bought it, so he wore it. That's how it was. Honestly, Halloween was better when I was a kid. It was so much fun until an incident happened that changed everything. Beginning on September 29th, 1982, 7 people died after taking the painkiller Tylenol. Investigators discovered that someone had tampered with the product on the store shelves, lacing it with potassium cyanide. Terrified parents nationwide refused to allow their children to celebrate Halloween the following month, and sales of costumes plummeted and really did not recover. It was the beginning of the switch from Halloween being just for kids to adults taking a bigger portion of it. When I was a kid, I never really saw an adult wearing a costume unless they were a teacher. You know, I'm not a fan of the sexy nurse or the sexy witch Halloween trope. Halloween is for kids as far as I'm concerned. Sexy nurse? I say boo. Not scary boo, but disapproving boo. Did you have a Ben Cooper or Collegeville or Halco costume? If so, which one or ones did you have? Let me know in the comments below. Listen, I want you to have a great, safe, and especially fun Halloween. And remember, you're just in time.
You're trying to breathe through that little hole. Getting all sweaty. I can't see, I can't breathe. We gotta keep going. We gotta get the candy.
Please be sure to subscribe, comment, give a thumbs up, and share. Gosh, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're just in time.